pretty. Come along. Hey, garden gals and guys, it's Steph with Tiny's Garden Gardening here in Zone 5B in the Chicago suburbs. And I'm picking up where I left off yesterday with soil blocking some hardy annuals here. The first one that I'm going to be planting is Larkspur. And this Larkspur has been cold stratifying in the fridge for the past 2 weeks. The varieties that I'm starting are Smoky Eyes, and then leftover from last year, QIS Dark Blue. A couple notes about soil blocking. This is my first year doing it. I'm loving it so far. I've saved a lot of space because it's so small compared to an actual cell tray. And I'm just learning the ins and outs of watering. I'm still figuring out the best way to water efficiently without getting too much algae on the plant. But I am using cinnamon, which is helping keep that at bay on things like Lisianthus, and I might even sprinkle them on here too. So hopefully most of these plants can stay in here until they find their home in my garden. I am going to label each of these so I know which soil block is which plant with not masking tape, painter's tape. Painter's tape tends to be a little better than masking tape, and a garden marker so it won't come off. On my tag, I also write which company the seed packet is from, just so I have an idea if a certain kind didn't do as well. I might not be as inclined to order that flower from that provider again, and also what date I've sowed it. Here are what the Larkspur seeds look like. Not too small, pretty visible. And a lot of people do winter sow these Larkspur. I am not, because I've had terrible luck with winter sowing. And that's probably more me than the method itself, because a lot of people love it and have great luck with it. Larkspur would be a great thing because it needs that cold period, so it'd be a perfect candidate for winter sowing, but I'm gonna try it in here because I've had no luck with winter sowing. And we're off. I showed this yesterday, but I'll show it again today. How I'm making my soil block mixture is out of Vermont Compost Company's Fort V potting mix. Seems to work really well so far. I'm using 3 parts of that to 1 part water. With the soil blocking, the wetter, the better. Obviously, not completely sloshed with water to where you can't get a block to hold, but probably more water than you think is needed. I've learned that this year, and there's a lot of resources that have made that point abundantly clear. So this is about the consistency that I make mine, and so far it's worked rather well. Voila! Holy smokes, there's a lot of seeds in this floret packet. I've still got like 10 left in here. That's impressive, floret. Thank you. I think what I'm going to do is save these Cosmos seeds for a different tray because these are much more cold hardy than Cosmos. And I've got some Bells of Ireland I'm going to start in a paper bag and put them on some heat, or in a plastic Ziploc bag, not a paper bag, and then I'll put those in here after they bloom bloom. My vocabulary is terrible today. After they start to germinate in that plastic bag, because Bells of Ireland are much more cold hardy as well. So that's what I'll do today. Might as well use the rest of these though. Larkspur for days, Larkspur for days. 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. 100 soil blocks of Larkspur. I'll be darned. Hopefully this is the year that they grow for me, eh? Now let's go get a paper towel, a Ziploc bag, and my Bells of Ireland seeds that I have in the fridge and get those starting to germinate. Then this last soil block will be reserved for them after they start to germinate in that bag. Okay, so I've got a paper towel that I've lightly moistened here. And I'm going to take my Bells of Ireland that were in the fridge. got some left, and I'm just going to sprinkle some around here. I've actually never germinated them this way, but I've seen a lot of people who do. I had decent luck last year just sowing them in the cell tray, and this year I've got some, but I don't have as many as last year that I started already. So we'll see how this method works for me. Now I'm gonna fold this in and flip it over. And see if I can do some on this side as well. Back here, flatten it out. And I'll open my Ziploc. Guess I could write Bells of Ireland, even though I probably won't forget. And the date that I'm sowing them. Great, now this will go on a heat mat under the grow lights. So here are my Bells of Ireland. They're gonna be on that heat mat, and I'll watch them over the next few days. And then when they start to get some growth, I'll put them up into a soil block. And then on my Larkspur, I'm gonna cover it up with a pretty thick layer of vermiculite because it'll be able to germinate through that. And the last one, like I said, I'm gonna leave blank for my Bells of Ireland, and I'll transport them in there after they've germinated. Now we're back out in the greenhouse, and my Larkspur tray right over here that I just sowed is with me because I double checked, and they like to germinate on at 55 degrees. Well, let's take a look at the temperature in here. Would you look at that? 55.2 degrees Fahrenheit. So they're going to be a lot happier in here, and I think they'll germinate better in here than inside. My lowest temperature inside under a grow light is around 70. So these are going to stay out here to germinate, and I will check on them and water them while they're in here. And the Bells of Ireland, by the time that they put on a little bit of growth and I get them in that extra soil block, they should be fine out here as well because they are more cold tolerant too. So that is it, everybody. Thanks for coming along with me today. I'm glad to have those Larkspur sown, and we'll see how the Bells of Ireland do with that new little germination method. So please comment below and let me know how your Larkspur is doing, if you're winter sowing it, if you're sowing it in a seed tray, or however you're doing it. Fill me in, comment below, and also if you haven't yet, please subscribe to my channel to follow along with all things garden. Stay tuned for some updates on how the rest of my seeds are doing so far, and we will see you soon, everybody. Happy planting! Bye.